wholeheartedly to all the participants together with the presenters who are going to present their ideas and concepts regarding ethnomathematics. Actually, it is sad to inform all of you, though all of you might have known that we have lost a great mathematician who has been working in the field of ethnomathematics for long, and he was also called as father of ethnomathematics. Though many people have been working in the field of cultural mathematics, but D'Ambrosio, Ubiratan D'Ambrosio actually has contributed in the field of mathematics and have brought a new idea, and he has propounded the name ethnomathematics. And under this ethnomathematics, we from Nepal also have been practicing for long. And our students, as well as me, including my professors, Palchandra Luitel, Assistant Professor Binod Prasad Pant, my colleagues, Niroj Dahal, Netra Sir, and so many mathematics students have been practicing this one. So in memory of Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, we have actually given a tribute to him by conducting this webinar. In this regard, today we have altogether 3 groups of presenters. Among them, 2 are our special guests, though we know them very well and we have met them physically in Nepal. They have come to Nepal in the international conference as well, and one of them have many times he visited here and has done his research with the KU graduates as well. So let me welcome Professor Danielle Clark Orey. Please, sir. Thank you very much. And Milton, Rosa. Now let me first introduce a brief introduction. Let me give brief introduction of both of them, and after that I will go further. Danielle Clark Orey, PhD, is a Professor Emeritus of Mathematics and Multicultural Education at California State University, Sacramento. He has taught and lived in Oregon, Brazil, Guatemala, Mexico, Nepal, and the United States. He is a Fulbright senior specialist with experiences at the Pontificia Universidade Católica de Campinas in Brazil. I think I may not pronounce it properly. And at Kathmandu University in Nepal too in 2007. He is currently Professor of Mathematics Education in the Departamento de Educação Matemática and serves in the academic. Now, let me go to Milton. He is the Ouro Preto, Universidade Federal de Ouro Preto, and in Brazil. He has also supervised numerous master's theses in the area of mathematics education. Dr. Rosa was awarded the Dr. Carlos J. Valeu Memorial Award in the area of multicultural and multi-ethnic education. So others, I think Milton Rosa will also introduce by himself. Welcome, Professor Dr. Rosa. Okay, thank you. Now, yet another, other 3 graduates are from Kathmandu University School of Education. Mr. Toyanath Sharma, welcome, sir. He has completed his MA in Mathematics Education from Kathmandu University. After completion of his master's course, he has been continuously involved in the research and publications. His papers basically links the ideas of mathematics, culture, education, and teacher development. Further, he is also a co-founder of Center for Activity-Based Instruction Nepal, which through which actually we have also, I think they have also conducted one symposium in Kathmandu University back in maybe 2016. I think you will clarify about this one. So, Mr. Sharma, welcome. And next, the co-presenter is Trilochan Sharma. Mr. Trilochan Sharma has completed his Master of Education from Kathmandu University. He is also co-founder of Center for Activity-Based Instruction Nepal. At present, he has been working as a curriculum consultant in different schools and carrying out research in education. And welcome, Mr. Trilochan Sharma, sir. Thank you. Now, the next presenter is our scholar, Shreejana Maharjan. She is doing her master's in mathematics education from the same university, School of Education. And she is actually going to do her research in the field of ethnomathematics as well. So I wholeheartedly welcome all the presenters as well as all the valued participants over here. Before that, I also want to pay my heartfelt sadness or homage, something like that, to D'Ambrosio, who actually guided us throughout our mathematics career. And before starting, I first of all request Professor Balchandra Luitel, who is also the advisor in the community development department there in Dhulikhel. So let me welcome Professor Dr. Balchandra Luitel for his opening remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I will be very brief because I don't have much to say because you have covered most part of the introduction. Today's presentation is to celebrate the legacy of Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, who actually introduced and also developed the concept of ethnomathematics as research program. In our case, just I would like to remember Ubiratan D'Ambrosio for the idea of ethnomathematics for three reasons. First of all, back in 2004, when we were developing postgraduate diploma in maths education, we were looking for alternative ideas. We were looking for something that would connect our teachers in our context. Okay, so ethnomathematics was one of the program, one of the pedagogical approach that our teachers would actually take with them to the school, to the community where they were. And later in 2006, we developed our master's program, M.Ed in Maths Education. And in that, we put ethnomathematics as one of the courses, one of the elective courses. And later, many of our students took up their study, their master's thesis within the framework of ethnomathematics. And at least, we produce one thesis every year, either in MPhil or in M.Ed from M.Ed groups. Likewise, myself in my study, I did not use ethnomathematics exclusively, but I take ethnomathematics as a referent. I took ethnomathematics as a referent. We wrote a paper and published in Cultural Studies of Science Education. There we discussed how ethnomathematics can be connected, not just in school education, but also in teacher education. And we continue to develop. We continue to develop one wing because we, upon my return back in 2010, we, continue to promote this notion of transformative learning, transformative education. And ethnomathematics has been one of the reference, one of the frameworks, if you like. And that has continued to be until today. We actually use ethnomathematics, and we have still the course, and we use that notion, that perspective And thankfully, we also, I think about two weeks earlier, we saw one student, we hear one student's defending a thesis on ethnomathematics from the Southern Plain. So, and also another student's defending MPhil thesis in the field of ethnomathematics. I think our colleague who is present here was external examiner as well. So in this way, we continue to develop this as one of the focus of our research program. And today we are going to celebrate, and in this seminar, in this webinar, I would like to welcome once again Professors Danielle Orey and Milton Rosa. And many of your papers are being used as reference materials by our students in our coursework. So welcome to all of you. So this is what I have to say, and listen to these presentations, and you might have questions, and you would like to discuss later on. So thank you, Energy, for this opportunity. Now let's begin.
Okay, thank you, Professor Balchandra Luitel. So before beginning, and before I invite the presenters, let me again welcome all the valued participants from Nepal as well as outside Nepal. I have already heard that so a few are from Bhutan also, and maybe from other countries. So I want to wholeheartedly welcome once again. So before I invite, let me tell something about the time slots that we have divided for all the participants here, presenters. The first presenter will be Shreejana Maharjan. Please, Shreejana Maharjan, madam, please get ready to share your slides, and you will have 25 minutes for your presentation and 5 minutes for question and answer. And the next presenters, the team is Toyanath Sharma and Trilochan Sharma, and both of you together will get 25 minutes also, and we'll have 5 minutes for question and answer. And after that, we have actually requested and welcomed two professors to pay their tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. That's why we have divided much time for them, 45 minutes. So accordingly, I now welcome Shreejana Maharjan and share the slides.
Good evening, everyone, and namaste to all. This is Shreejana Maharjan from Kathmandu University School of Education, and today it is a very great honor for me to speak in this platform, and I am very happy to share some of my understanding on ethnomathematics. If there are any misleading concepts that I have brought understanding on ethnomathematics, please correct me and give me feedbacks on my understanding of ethnomathematics, because we have Professor Danielle Clark and Milton Rosa over here, and also professors and my seniors and my professors. Please help me understand ethnomathematics more better after this presentation from your valuable feedbacks. So let's present today's presentation. So as
Shreejana ma'am, I think your voices are low. Can you increase the volume?
So I think I don't know how to increase the volume. So I think that it will be.
Okay, please move on.
Okay. So as today we are dedicating our webinar as a tribute to sorry for this, I don't know where to go. As a tribute to Professor about Professor D'Ambrosio as a professional mathematician and philosopher, and he has played a leading role in the encouraging. He has played the leading role in the development of the research and development in the mathematics in education in Brazil and throughout Latin America. Regarding his contribution to international arena, he was awarded second Felix Klein Medal on the International Commission of Mathematics Education. Professor Ambrosio was a prolific writer over many languages and especially in Portuguese, and he has been recognized as bringing the significance of mathematics as a viable research field to the attention of mathematics educators. So we are very much humbled and we are very much honored to have him as he has developed a research field that we are now doing our research. So the general outline of today's my presentation is like KU, I stumbled upon mathematics research work that inspired me. And my research, I will be talking about some of my research approaches of a quest for incredible mathematics in Dhungedhara, and I will conclude at last. So talking about the ethnomathematics, the word ethnomathematics, I stumbled on it when I was in Kathmandu University, and it was during my first year's course time that I came to know about ethnomathematics. Before that, I didn't know that mathematics can be related with the culture. I thought that I had the degree in bachelor's degree, and until then I was just thinking that mathematics can only be learned through the thick books and can only be understood by all those mathematical formulas and all those symbols that mathematics are represented. So I had never thought that mathematics can be linked with culture. It was the workshop in KU that I had an opportunity to meet Professor Danielle Clark Orey. And in that workshop, I was very much astonished and very much amazed that cultures has such indigenous knowledge, that cultural knowledge and indigenous knowledge are such of great value and such a high level that even the academic mathematics could not relate to that. So that was very inspiring moment for me, and I thought that I would be doing research on that topic, but I was not sure about all those mathematics terms and everything that are required to give the meaning of mathematics. So it was all due to my professors and my teachers and my friends collaboration and all those discussions in our classes and in our college, and that I am now able to make some sense of mathematics, and I'm sure that I'm not still in that position of making the meaning correctly about the mathematics, and I am sure that my professors will guide me in my way to the research. So I like to thank my professors, Mr. Indra Shrestha and Mr. Vinod Shrestha for giving all those answers of my questions and for clarifying all the meanings of the mathematics whenever I asked them, and they never felt tired of answering my questions, and never they hesitated or never they told me no to my answers, and they gave extra meaning. They try to relate with the metaphors, with the all those meanings, all those levels that I am able to understand, because my level of understanding is not so much high, and so my teachers come to that level, to lower that level, and I understand the mathematics in my level of understanding. So thank you for all my teachers, professors, and all my colleagues and all my seniors for all those, and I'm really greatly thankful for all of them. So there are lots of research papers that I have been reading recently about mathematics. I'm trying to make sense of mathematics, and I have read all the papers written by Daniel Clark and Ambrosio, Professor Ambrosio as well. But I think I have still not got that sense of meaning making process about the mathematics that are required to do the research that I will be doing on my process. So I think I still need to keep reading and keep consulting with my professors. And And some of the research papers that I have taken here are just a few because we have the time constraint. There are lots of papers that I'm very much inspired of, and I want to bring them in here, but because of the time constraint and because of the things that I have to deliver in a limited time, I have only brought the research papers that are done in Nepal. So in Nepal, I have been very much influenced by Mr. Balchandra's, Professor Balchandra sir, with his paper works and uh, his uh, his personality and his work in the mathematics field that has given me a view about how to make the meaning making process simple to the and very relative and realistic to the students in my school works. So regarding these papers, the Sanai, the pseudosphere, and the other imaginings, these papers, I will just talk about a few because I think everybody has already read all these papers. So I will just take a take few minutes. So in this paper, Professor Balchandra Sir talks about how the mathematics is not linked to the culture, how it is detached, and how it can be attached to the culture so that the meaning making process is simple. So in this paper, he gives a simple example of Dr. Euclid, and so I'm very much was very much I was very much excited and also very much laughing at the same time. Where we have the professors like Dr. Euclid who skip the history part of the mathematics. So if we don't understand the history part of the mathematics, then we will not be able to link how the formulas came, how it is related, and how it is of the real life. So he has given such a vast big gap, such a vast gap of the cultural mathematics link to the to the school mathematics or the mathematics that we learn. So in this paper, by reading this paper, it was a clear concept that culture has a profound impact in mathematics. So in this paper, Professor Bhattachandra also talks about the Sanai and also the temple bell that we usually see in our daily lives and how that can be linked to with the non-Euclidean geometry and how that can be explained very simply and very in a realistic manner than the definition from the textbooks. So this paper also has inspired me a lot. And Mr. Toyanath Sharma and Professor Danielle Clark's paper, Meaningful Mathematics Through the Use of the Cultural Artifacts, has helped me understand that in this paper, they have talked about the Rai community and in which they are making the holes. And so the making process of the whole and the indigenous knowledge of making the whole process has has been explained in such a brief manner, in such an explanatory manner that I can imagine and also can relate to it realistically. And about the work by Dr. Jai Vishnu Pradhan, who is a professor at Tribhuvan University, and his works on mathematics idea in Dhungedhara culture. And he has given the example of making dhangros and madal and also manapati and in the Dhungedhara culture. And so he has given the very detailed explanation of how the indigenous knowledge of that culture has been applying the mathematical knowledge for making all those artifacts. So that has also inspired me a lot. And talking about my seniors, Mr. Manoj Shrestha and Mr. Lama, and they have also worked on embodiment of geometry in traditional Newai art and mathematics practices in Voti community. And this has also given me the things that I need to do in my research and the things that I need to explore in my research as well. And this has been all been the guiding path for my research, and it has given me confidence to do my research as well. So coming to my research at Dhungedhara, so I actually didn't come to this research topic in a day because as we all know that choosing a research topic is such a tedious job and such a time consuming, and also like there are dilemmas like what to do and what not to do. So in this research field, I actually have been thinking about the research topic from my first year, and so and I had been consulting with my professors and my teachers and all my colleagues so that I can make the meaning of all the mathematics that I have been learning, and I wanted to make it real and very related to the realistic problems that we are facing. So by this eventual process, I was able to come to this topic, and I thought that choosing the topic was the very difficult task. But now, as a researcher, I'm finding it very challenging to complete my research in this Dhungedhara, and the challenge has been added because of the pandemic. And so it's very challenging for me to do this research work right now, and I hope that everybody will help me do this research work so that I can make the best of the uh, realistic mathematics, so that that can be helpful for all the students and all the all the mathematicians to all the teachers, so that they can relate this cultural mathematics with their school curriculum mathematics, so that the realistic problems can be solved, and the higher level of the understanding on the mathematics can be gained. So from the papers that I have taken, like Rajan Prakash Shrestha and Kesav Maharjan, they have written a paper. So on that basis, I'm talking that stone spouts, or the Dhungedhara, is a type of traditional Nepali water source, and it consists of a stone and through which water is channeled to serve as a tap. And so there exists a record of 400 traditional stone spots in the Kathmandu Valley, and 95% of the stone spots are found in Kathmandu Valley. And it has been reported that Dhungedhara has been found from the 15th century, and evidence shows that it was here from 1550 AD. So it's a very old and traditional culture of Nepal. And so I think the challenges that I need to be going through for the real cultural mathematics in Dhungedhara will be a very hard part for me to complete this research. And and talking about the main other purpose of taking this research is that the Dhungedhara is been like not taken seriously, and so there has been like most of them are destroyed by the organization, and we can see that it is not so much in use nowadays, and so it is not taken care. And if this research is can be brought in every school and every colleges, then I think Dunyada can be preserved, and it can also be the beauty that it has always been. So talking about other aspect of my research, like Dhungedhara is it is connected with the water. And see, Kathmandu Valley, we know that though the melon tea has just been, but before that, Kathmandu Valley people suffered a lot on the water resources and water drinking problems and all those things. So if this traditional Dhungedhara improved and can be made important, and can be like restored and can be made functional, then the water problem that Kathmandu Valley is facing can be reduced a lot in real life situations. So considering my research approaches, global ethic and local unique and local dialogical. So I think that my research will be more related to the local unique research field, because I think I will be talking a lot with the local people and maybe with the local all those architectures and all those experts in the Dhungedhara. So I think my research will be more unique and I think that, but maybe I'm wrong. My professors will guide me on that. And about the approaches of there is like a cognition situated and cognition embodied. So cognition situated means that cognition means thinking and making meaning making process, and it is situated means like it is like it is connected with the situation, and cognition in embodied means about the experience. So I think my research field has both the approach of these two approaches, and I think I will be able to I will be able to give the I will be able to do the research correctly and authentically. And so modeling process as a pedagogical tool, I plan to apply modeling tool as a pedagogical tool because modeling in mathematics has a very profound level of understanding. So I think modeling will be very best approach for doing this research. And so we know that modeling is the intersection of the three knowledge fields, that is the mathematical modeling, cultural anthropology. And so these, I think I don't need to explain all these in front of the experts over here. And so we, so I think that my research field in Dhungedhara will bring all those mathematics, real mathematics, cultural mathematics, and everything that been missing in our school mathematics, so that mathematics can be very exciting thing to learn, and very much to our own life, so that we can relate all those structures, architectures, and all those magnificent mathematics with our own life. So I would like to conclude my presentation with Professor Ambrosio's saying, like he explains that in everyday life, it is a system of knowledge that offers the possibility of a more favorable and harmonious relation among humans and between humans and nature. So I think all these contribution to the ethnomathematics will help all the humans and all the humanity. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Wonderful presentation, Shreejana ma'am. Thank you very much. You have brought the idea after paying tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. You have brought the idea. The idea I like most is that you have tried to bring the idea about ethic and emic perspective, and later on what you said, that what you told, that you want to be a dialogical between this ethic and emic perspective. That's great. So before I invite other speakers, we'll have 5 minutes time for question and answer. Before that, I have seen here Dr. Sasidhar Belbasi sir, so I want to welcome him, who is working in United Arab Emirates, UAE University. And I have also seen JB Pradhan sir from Tribhuvan University. Please let us welcome. And later on, I will see here in the chat box and welcome gradually to our dignitaries as well as the valued participants. So floor is yours, valued participants. Please put your questions if you have. I also serve the chat over here. If you have some queries. Basanta. Any question, please? Or further you want to put something? As she has already informed that she is trying to do her research on this Dhungedhara, which is related to cultural mathematics, that is ethnomathematics. So there are so many cultural mathematics artifacts around us, not only in one particular culture, but we have those mathematics that can be connected with our school mathematics, so that we can contextualize our mathematics and give a certain kind of meaning, so that students can learn meaningfully, conceptually, and they actually increase their interest towards learning mathematics as well. So you can have some your words about them too. Anybody? Otherwise, shall I invite Danielle and Rosa? Can you have some words about this presentation? Will you please?
Wonderful presentation. Very good. Very good. The question about water is so important right now. And it's really good to have that cultural relationship in the work. And I hope you continue with this. It's very, very interesting. I remember that in Patan, that place in your last picture reminded me of almost the temple behind us. When we look at that picture, reminded us that it was the positive, and then where the water came out was the negative. It was almost like both things were the same shape, but one was positive and negative. So there's so much to look there, and I'm so grateful that you're doing this work, and I hope that you and other people and your future students continue on with this. It's very, very important. So congratulations, it's lovely.
Yeah, I just want to say that I liked very much the presentation, and I think you said that you're going to explore more the emic perspective, right? The local perspective. So in doing so, what are you really looking for from the emic perspective of the local mathematical knowledge?
So,
Okay, Shreejana ma'am, did you get the question?
Yes. Thank you for the question. And it's a big
Okay.
honor that I'm talking to you right now because I have only read your papers and not have a chance to meet you, Rosa, especially Professor Rosa. I have chance to meet Danielle Rosa, but I don't have.
Well, you
not-
might
So
say
yeah,
something about your future plan, your future work, or your extension of this work right now. So that's the question,
yes,
especially from the emic perspective,
yes.
from insider's perspective. So that's
Yes. So I think from the unique perspective, I will be searching the mathematics that in the culture, in Newai culture, this Dhungedhara is very much linked to their culture. So there is one festival called Sitinapa, in which we clean the Dhungedhara. So that Sitinapa has been followed by a few of our Newai culture, and that's not been followed by all of us. So if that was being followed by all of our community, then there would not have been problem with Dhungedhara. So I will be searching that cultural aspect as well, and also I will also be searching on the constructional value, constructional of the Dhungedhara, and the construction of the Dhungedhara are generally done by some group of the Newai culture, and I think that needs to be explored, and I'm very much not aware of all those things. So I think I will have to explore that part as well. And other thing is that the Newai community, Kathmandu Valley, the Newai community are facing the water problem because they neglect their culture. So I think that if we can bring that importance of these all things that are related to us in our real life, then the real life situation problems can be solved. And I think I believe that we can solve and we can do something about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, she is master's student, and actually in the process of developing her research proposal, we demanded that she want to do her research in this Dhungedhara. And later on, Binod sir and me together discuss each other, okay, let's go her for this project and develop this one. She is in the initial phase only. That she is reading. We have suggested her to go through many literature so that she will get the deeper idea about this and go further. And accordingly, we actually suggested her to go through different papers of Orey and Rosa as well as D'Ambrosio. So she is doing her best. I think I wish her good luck for that. So any one question we have.
Indra sir, there are two more questions in the chat. Indra sir.
Okay.
Please read that questions and perhaps Shreejana can respond. Two more questions in the chat. One from Sashidhar Belvasi sir and one from
okay.
Maybe Bourbon from Philippines, I guess.
Okay, nice presentation. How you filter specific mathematics from Dhungedhara to classroom discussion in making sense of models and functions. I again repeat, how you filter specific mathematics from Dhungedhara to classroom discussion in making sense of models and functions. Did you get the question?
Yes, sir. So I am not that much math genius, so I think I'll need to explore a lot on that one as well. so uh, so like functions and all those relations with the Dhungedhara. So and my general understanding until now that I have been reading all those papers. So from that understanding, I believe that this Dhungedhara has some mystical values as well. So because there are mystical creatures embodied over there, and so there are lots of bringing the water in the when we enter in the Dhungedhara. So if you have entered in the Dhungedhara in Kathmandu Valley, so you not only get your water, your thirst fulfilled, that you drink water and you get satisfied, but you have that environment when you go inside of the Dhungedhara, you have that environment of cool breeze over there. So I think that there are much more to explore right now, because it's only the initial phase of mine people reading all those things. So I think there are many more things to be explored. So I can't understand, I can't relate right now. So I'm very sorry for that. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's great. Actually, she is planning to do ethnomodeling. Let's see what she will do later on after going through various literatures. Now I have one more question from Bourbon, if I have pronounced well, Bourbon Jonathan asked that, just want to know what methods did you use in gathering and analyzing data? I think she is in the initial stage, so I want to just inform you all that she now developing her, she has developed the proposal and she is working for that one, and she is going to follow the ethnography as a research methodology. Let's see what she will do. So I think no need to give the answer of this from Shreejana. That's why I've given the answer of this. Let me go one more question I think I've seen here. My question is from Kedar Dulal. How you link Dhungedhara and mathematics? Okay, very simple question. I think you have told before also. You can also tell something about this. How do you link Dhungedhara and mathematics, school mathematics? What type of connection will be there? Possibility, what you have seen?
Thank you for the question. And I think there are lots of mathematics that we can link with Dhungedhara. But to give very simple example, we can link with the geometry, symmetry, and also with the arithmetic like calculations. And so these are the very simple that we can see in a very single site of the Dhungedhara. And so we can also find all those like the depth of the Dhungedhara, and also the carvings that are done around the Dhungedhara, and the height of that Dhungedhara. So I think there is some mathematics going on to balance all those things. So I think that will not be only because just like making a hole and just carving the stones over there. So I think all those architectures has all the meanings to make it, and to make it sustain for that because it's an underground level. It's not in the same level, so the pressure will be high over there. So I think there are lots of mathematics that we can link in with our school mathematics if we explore more. So I think there are many more to explore. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's time for welcoming another pair of presenters here. Before that, I want to again remind one thing that in the concluding remarks, Assistant Professor Binod Prasad Panta will be there paying tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. That's why I humbly request all the participants to stay till the end, and we still have two more special guests, Danielle, Clark, Orey, and Milton, Rosa. These two professors will be presenting their ideas and concepts about ethnomathematics after this presentation. So let me welcome Toyanath Sharma and Trilochan Sharma. Please, sirs, share your slides and move on.
Hello, namaste. I'm Toyanath Sharma, and I'd like to thank this KU STEAM department for the program at first. And today we are here to dedicate our special time for our very, very, very special intellectual father. We are going to tribute Professor Ubiratan D'Ambrosio for his great contribution to the society, to the nation, and to the whole world, that he has given the idea to explore the more possibility about education and the future education. So today, me and Trilochan, we are going to present about I think this is not working. Oh yeah. Today, me and Trilochan, we too are going to present about first of all, we express our great respect to D'Ambrosio. Then we are going to explore Nepalese cultural artifact through ethnomathematics, that how we work as a researcher, as a teacher educator, as a teacher, and how we have implemented that idea in schools. Then now what we have developed after this much work, after 10, 12 years of experience on working on this, so what next step we are thinking about. So first of all, when I remember D'Ambrosio, I always think that this, at least this four course, that mathematics is embedded in culture, where I am very much impressed. And for that, when I joined in KU, I joined KU in 2009 as a graduate student for my master's in mathematics education. And I have seen one thesis, that dissertation completed by Krishna Prasad Paudel, and he has completed on that Tharu community and their mathematics. So I was very much impressed from there. And I did not know about ethnomathematics, and I haven't met Balchandra sir and Professor Orey till that time. But I have gone through the literature that Krishna Paudel has presented on his research. So after that, in 2010, Balchandra sir came back, and he was the intellectual father for me. I always follow him, his idea, especially about the idea of the hearing voiceless voice, that empowering the voiceless people, voiceless society, and whatever that is, transformative education or what, that I took the center of the idea of Balchandra sir is to empower the people who are suffering, people who are struggling to uplift their lifestyle, their thought, whatever. And the people of so ethnomathematics program, that what it supplies, and that is the main idea that I have followed through. The second is the ethnomathematics program is a proposal for peace. That is, I think that is in 2016, that we also published paper on that same journal. So that was the very influential paper I found from D'Ambrosio, and we have gone through this. Now I'm going to share something that we Nepali, especially including me, involved in the research project that is especially dedicated to ethnomathematics. This was done in 2016, and me and Ramesh Neupane, two of us, involved here in this project. And that was about, we didn't know about how we integrate mathematics, social studies, language, and the technical part. But we have started through the excursion program that we wanted to take our student outside school activities, and we didn't know how to connect our school curriculum with this project. But later on, we've been able to develop a proposal, a draft that includes school, that connected with the school curriculum and integrated at least 4 subjects: social studies, mathematics, language, and art. So a kind of semi-STEAM program that we have started through ethnomathematics, where we have taken ethnomathematics as a program, and we did with one of the private school students project. And what we have found, we call it CPBL, Cultural Project Based Learning. It was PBL, but especially focusing on the cultural things, cultural components, and empower learner by utilizing their cultural intelligence. It is in Bhaktapur Darbar Square, and they have learned so many things from their culture. So in this paper, we have included these 4 points: cultural project as a CPBL, and empowering by utilizing their cultural intelligence, and harmony, peace, social justice through ethnomathematics as a program. So how we have we've been able to develop the harmony among the community, and this, how we have worked for the justice through the ethnomathematics. So those things are included in this paper, and we have very much influence on the paper by Orey and Rosa, that culturally relevant pedagogy, and that was also included in this paper. So in the same paper, this is mandala, but I just want to show you how students work together in this project, what they have found, and how they have connected their school mathematics with this. So this is mandala. This is very abstract thing for the general mathematics student, and even for some teachers. They don't think what is there, but this is the mandala of the Nepali Hindu temple, and that we work for the Siddhi Lakshmi temple in Bhaktapur. So students went there, and they have explored a lot about geometry. They have explored a lot about the calculations and found some patterns. In this temple, they have found almost 95% things were in odd number, and that we can go through this paper. So projects have components of integrating this. These are the things that we have included in their paper. Integrating authentic context and real world problem that students have encountered, and they have experience with this Siddhi Lakshmi temple. An ethno project that may help teachers to vision learning in authentic real problem is in socio-cultural and historical context. Obviously, that is their one. They have a feeling of ownership. They have involved in so many cultural things over there. And so that is what the connection they have found. When teachers become conscious of their own culture, they help their students to become aware of their culture. So that is the line I took from D'Ambrosio, but the same thing we found during this research project. And D'Ambrosio suggested the promoting citizenship that transmits values and shows right and responsibility in the society, but being careful not to promote the irresponsible creativity. That is what the measure our academicians' responsibility is. So when promoting the creativities, when uplifting others, when raising the voice of voiceless peoples, we have to think about, or we do not need to promote the irresponsible creativity at the same time. So this is the critical question that we have addressed in this research question. Unique cultural background is a strong determination for conceptualizing or reconceptualizing the learning process in our classroom. So students, when they have seen different, a kind of visitor. They were doing the tourist work, but at the same time, they have seen math there, and the teacher and we researchers involved there, and we help them to find out what is there and what they have seen in the textbook. So this is how the connection were made. So this is another project that we did together, I and Professor Orey. The initial idea was made in ICME 13 that I have presented in Germany, but later on we developed this as a book chapter. And the Shreejana ma'am also talked about this project, where we have studied about the dhol, that is particularly the Rai community made and develop use this. So in this project, we work for the mathematical modeling of dhol, but at the same time, we realized that so how the Rai community children feel mathematics easy or mathematics on their own when they see the things that is happening around them. So in this book chapter, we have promoted the Nepalese Rai communities math and culture there. So this is actually musical instrument, but we have taken this as a mathematical lab, the dhol lab. So we call. So the next thing is, this is recently done in 2020. The project was developed in 2019, I think, and me and Trilochan, we too involved over there, and it took around more than 6 months with school children and teachers to develop this project. This is all about Masindranath temple, and it took a lot of time because we have to involve with the people who are involving in developing Masindranath Jatra, Masindranath chariot, and the mathematics there, the people's different society. We have gone through several interviews and so many unnecessary hanging with the people who are involving with this to know about the information. Yes, we spend a lot of time on the Masindranath project. This is ethnographic case study. One of the school that is transferring itself from traditional books-based teaching and learning approach to curriculum-specific child-friendly learning process. So this is from the school of Lalitpur district, with the school was trying to shift their approach from traditional to the new one. I mean, from the old notion to new notion. And training solely do not make change in the school system. That is what we have learned from this. Because we have involved in that school for 3 years, but training didn't make change. Later on, when we have changed our approach, but slowly teachers, they try to, they entertain and they have developed other projects similar like our project. So moral behavior can be developed through the math trial activities, respect towards one cultural tradition. This is what we can develop through the ethnomathematics. So this is how the peace education and the global peace can be led through this ethnomathematics program. Participating in the hands-on activities, and of course, students involved there and they have got hands-on experience. And this is cultural project-based instructional activities, and cultural artifact and practices are key to ensure effectiveness of. When we did this, when the Rato Masindranath Jatra happens, the student went there, the Jatra was at the same time happening, and they have seen all the newspaper and everything that Rato Masindranath Jatra, everywhere Rato, in the television Rato Masindranath Jatra. So they feel that whatever they are doing their mathematics, and that is their own mathematics, they are actually there. Now this is what we have worked, and later on student developed this model, and this was the program. But in the process of developing this chariot, the student developed their mathematics and they got to know about their cultural math. Like one example I have mentioned here, the 32 is a major number of use. Like we use 32 foots, hands, whatever that is the center of 32. Yeah, what the students found there, the concept of balance, the height of the chariot is equal to the length of the dhama. That is called the long wood that we have seen there. So both are same. They use steps in Masina chariot and estimation and measurement they have learned. And there are so many non-standard measures like Advita that Professor J.B. Pradhan has mentioned in his research paper. Now, how we have transferred this into in the schools, this is going to present by Trilochan, and at the same time what he is going to show from mathematics education background, and he is not from mathematics education background, but how he is working with ethnomathematics and working with children. Trilochan?
Thank you, Toya sir. Now, I am Trilochan Sharma, and we, Toya sir and me, and our team, we work together in this project, different projects of ethnomathematics together. And mostly I work in school, and I connect these ideas to school and teacher students. So I'm sharing about ethnomathematics in school. So this Machindranath as a cultural artifact, this we carried out in 2019. And we first we develop a model how we take this to the teachers or students who have not explored much more about their own culture. So we prepare a model framework how we can integrate this to what we are doing day to day in our school. So we first with teacher, and we define the objective of the project, components that can come together with this artifact project, like language, mathematics, social studies, where we mostly learn about culture and discuss about objectives of the study with the students. And also implement this KWL strategy together with this project, that is what you know, what you want to know, and what you learn. This three-step strategy we use here, and followingly we prepare model, and also student involved in sharing their findings with other students in the school. During the process, this is the mathematical modeling and the process that we have captured during our research. This model was prepared by the Barahi community people who mostly work with the wooden part of the Masinath chariot, and we discuss about it with students, and also we take students to the leader of this Barahi community and discuss with them about how the process, Machinnath construction process is being carried out since past. And what we came to know from this research is that whenever we take students outside the classroom, they always start enjoying the things. And even the mathematics that we teach in the classroom is more like numbers, where students do not enjoy much. But when we take outside, students started enjoying the things. They started seeing mathematics in their artifacts, in the things that they have been with their childhood. So they enjoy the things and understand the concept of mathematics differently. and even students involvement in measurement or the project construction process gives them ownership of their learning, and even the assessment will be different in the project-based learning model. And similarly, when we introduced this concept to the teachers were also excited to bring the relationship between the culture and the content in the mathematics. Teachers also started seeing how rich our culture is in relation to mathematics and learning, or this also brings them a newer place to connect culture with the curriculum. And for this future dimension, I again would like to request Toyanath sir to continue with.
So what we are going to do? How we are contextualize the concept of STEAM education in our school. So this is the question nowadays. The teachers, especially working for STEAM education, and the educators, teacher educators who are working for STEAM education are thinking about. So it's very simple that we have work for the ethnomathematics and at the same time for the integration of the subject. But what STEAM has taken, or what the real concept of STEAM education is it's about integrating different components or different subjects like science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So what we have done, not exactly STEAM, but we have done to integrate mathematics, arts, and science with culture and social studies. So we can go through this. We can develop the exploring our local science, local technology, local engineering, local arts, and local mathematics. So through that, we can lead to STEAM. And we always talk about the digital thing, but still our teachers haven't prepared. So we can go through this. This is the future dimension that we have set. So after this post-COVID activities, of course, we will start for this work. So these are the references. Now, our great respect to Professor Ubiratan. And thank you all for listening this, and we'll be happy to share our ideas in future. And at the same time, for the organizers. Now, thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful presentation, both of you, Sharma and Sharma. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Before I take some questions, I have seen some questions out there in the chat as well. I want to take a note that in the previous presentation, one question was asked out there by Ratna Bahadur Dulal. So the question he has asked is already answered out there. But he has interestingly informed that he is also doing ethnomathematics on doko weaving. So great, that is great idea, sir. Thank you very much for informing that sort of works that you have been doing. And that is the real tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. Thank you very much. Now let me take a question from here. One question I have seen here, which I think Toya sir has already given the answer. The question was, how can we connect STEAM with this something question I've seen out there. Let me read out, just a minute. Okay. So question is like that. I think you have already told that question, the answer of that question. Yes or no? I think yes, Toya sir.
Yeah. So my last slide says that how, this.
Okay. One, sir, may I interrupt you? One more question is here, interesting. How ethnomathematics can be connected to harmony, peace, and social justice? Purna Subba. from Purna Subba.
Yes. Thank you for the question. Yes.
Interesting question. Yeah.
Now you can connect with your cultural activities first. Forget about mathematics. Just start thinking you are celebrating some cultural things. Yes. So then what happens there? When we celebrate things, when we realize that is our things, that whatever you are doing mathematics or science or technology, but first of all, what feelings come into us? So this is how when we work for the ethnomathematics program, we start connecting with the cultural, for example, cultural artifact, cultural like Machindranath, something like that. So what do we feel? We are celebrating our festival, yes, at the same time we are learning, but we forget whatever we are learning, we are celebrating. So this is how this connect and this start developing our harmony together with us.
Okay, thank you very much. So one interesting idea is actually posted here from Apple. I don't know what the name is, real name is there. Very amazing concept indeed. Ethnomathematics, being the student of research, as a student research, this is really very new concept for understanding maths in the way of interdisciplinary learning through the lens of ethnography. Thank you bringing this idea. Okay, we also, on behalf of both the presenters as well as from Kathmandu University, thank you very much for posting this idea. So another question I'm looking for is, I have seen here wonderful presentation and many congratulations is out there. Okay, one question from Sasidhar Belbasi, sir. Dr. Sasidhar Belbasi has asked a question. What kind of specific mathematics, concepts or procedure did you bring from temples to the classroom? And another question, subsidiary question out there, how did you use modeling to connect local culture to classroom mathematics? Did you get the question, sir?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sasidhar sir, for this question. So first question, what kinds of specific mathematics you are asking about from the Siddhi Lakshmi temple that we worked in the Bhaktapur? So there are so many things, but I just want to give you one example that is already said by previous speaker, like geometry that we can connect. So they have got almost all the shapes and the calculation that they are doing in the classroom, they found in the base of their temple. Very simple, but they went through the number system. We have got some patterns there that for the details that you need to go through the paper, but students have developed the number pattern that they have found in the engineering of that construction. And the another question is how we use modeling to connect local culture to the classroom mathematics here. So we have launched project-based learning, and we decide to work with teachers first. And at that time we developed some concept, and we have taken some curricular objective from National Curriculum Framework, and the class-wise, I mean the grade-wise or age-wise, and we specify that particular objective, and we get the learning experience, the activities and game, something like that from outside activities, from the cultural things. So this is how we connect.
Okay, thank you very much. So one question is like this from Narayan Sapkota, but he has asked that ethnomathematics is only for geometry or other mathematical disciplines, I mean ideas. I think I will give the answer of this. Actually, ethnomathematics is not confined or limited to geometry only. We can explore many mathematical practices going on throughout our culture. I think that's is okay. That is sufficient for that. And another question is, how can we use ethnomathematics in university level curriculum design? Okay, Toya sir, are you saying something?
Yeah, I want to add for the Narayan Sapkota sir. This is very simple, okay. That we can see the algebra out there, Narayan sir. Like in our community, we can see the people are doing algebra like a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square, whatever the exploration of algebraic things, that is also come from the real life situation that we can see from different perspective, from different way of solving it. But ethnomathematics also goes together with this. This is not apart from our living. This is the part of our life, and it goes together with.
Okay, thank you. So how can we use ethnomathematics in university level curriculum design? I think Kamal Koirala. How can we use ethnomathematics in university level curriculum design?
Okay, I'm not expert for higher education, but at least I can try, you know. For the university, what university's purpose is to produce manpower. First of all, we need to think about that. Are we producing teachers? Are we producing researchers? Are we producing whatever the community server? The things that we need to take care about our objective in higher education. What the higher education is taking consideration of. So first of all, that is most important. If we are preparing for teacher, we are developing teachers, then what we need to think about, we need to put the things that makes teacher better, that makes, you know, the teachers be able to work with ethnomathematics in a school or wherever they are working on. So this is how university can incorporate the ethnomathematical concept in university courses. And that is what I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, one last question I will take and expect the question in short. The question is there any difference between ethnomathematics and indigenous mathematics?
No, that question, Trilochan sir. Since you are from non-mathematics background, that's why I'm asking you.
What do you think? Okay.
Thank you, Toya sir. I don't think there is much more differences in ethnomathematics and indigenous mathematics. As ethnomathematics is a broad term, it already incorporates the indigenous mathematics of different community, small community cultures. Indigenous mathematics are incorporated in ethnomathematics. I think we cannot distinguish it as ethno or indigenous mathematics. There is no such differences.
Okay, on this, may I request Professor Balchandra Luitel to put light on this if you are there, sir.
Okay, so much light has already been put, so I don't think I have to say anything. I think these two and the earlier presenters, they brilliantly, shed light on these various aspects of ethnomathematics and, ethnomathematics pedagogy, ethnomathematical modeling, ethnomathematics and culture. I like Toyaji, time and again, he said, forget about mathematics, forget about mathematics. I like this rhetoric because we are trying to cling too much on a particular category, and that category hinders us understanding ethnomathematics. So ethnomathematics is more than mathematics. We should not be always trying to match with or trying to impose something on the cultural activities, but it should be the other way around. The cultural activity give rise to different forms of mathematical thinking. That's the job of researcher. That is the purpose of ethnomathematics research program. Why this is a program for peace? Because it doesn't have an agenda of colonization. It has an agenda of exploring our mathematical capital of each and every culture. So that's, and then it brings peace from that perspective, so that people live in harmony. People are respected in terms of their knowledge heritage, in terms of their mathematical knowledge heritage. So mathematics does not simply belong to a particular group, particular cultural communities. So it belongs to everyone. So this gives rise to this one way. This helps different communities to live in harmony, to respect each other, to respect each other's knowledge systems. So I think that is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Balchandra Loitel. So I think it's already time. That's why I cannot take questions, other questions here. I've seen some questions posted over there, and I request Toyanath Sir and Trilochan Sir to get these questions and get connected with those valued participants. Now, finally, the awaited presenters that we have been waiting for, two special presenters from Brazil, Auro Petro or Port or something like that. I think they will pronounce well. So let me wholeheartedly welcome Professor Danielle, Clark Orey, and Professor Milton Rosa. Sirs, please share your slides and move on. Thank you very much.
Okay, so one of the lessons that Ubiratan gave us was to be very humble as professors and to make sure to ask for help. So, okay, hey, we're okay. First, I think we want to thank our colleagues who are here from, let's see, Bhutan and Philippines. Professor Shaki from somewhere in Ohio, I think. Our other colleagues here in Brazil, there are some, our student Diego had to leave for a school meeting, so he sends his regards. I also want to thank Balchandra Sir for starting this whole discussion so many years ago. He wrote a grant that brought me to Nepal, and then he abandoned us. He left just Shashidhar Sir and Tikaram Sir and me to decide what to do. And I think all three of us are very grateful. Though we were not grateful that he left, we were very grateful for the opportunity. And most of all, our friends, my two friends here, who are now doing ethnomodeling about diapers. So there are many diapers in these two houses right now. It's a future model I think we have here going on. I'm so very proud, and we're deeply honored. I know that we were talking to Ubiratan about 2-3 weeks before he passed.
A week before.
A week before he passed. And once again, sharing the work that you all do, he was so emotional about it. He was so moved that what he was saying was all the way on the other side of the planet. So I know even though he's not here, he's really here. He's here today with us. So you want to say something?
Yes, I just would like to thank you all for the invitation to be in this tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. In fact, we're having a lot of tributes all over, the planet here in Brazil as well. And it is well deserved because he's a person that left a message about peace and mathematics, or non-killing mathematics for peace. And as well, how to use ethnomathematics to value and respect other people's knowledge. And that knowledge could be mathematical, scientific, or any kind of knowledge. So we have to respect, to value that knowledge that is different from the school or academic knowledge, because we're all doing mathematics in a certain way, right? So thank you very much for this opportunity. And we're going to share with you some of our ideas and our time with Ubiratan D'Ambrosio here in Brazil and in other places that we met in congresses and the conferences all over this planet.
Yeah. Oops. Let's see here. There. So this is Ubi's house, his wife Maria Jose, in their home in Sao Paulo.
Wait a minute. Maria Jose is a great woman, his wife, And she was always with him in all conferences and the congresses and all local meetings, supporting him about his ideas regarding ethnomathematics and the other mathematics education field. Even though she was not a mathematics education professor or any kind of issue related to ethnomathematics or mathematics in general. She's a great woman.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to send this recording of this meeting to her when it's over. Let's see here. Let me move this so I can read this.
I think this is you, so we can
Okay.
talk about ourselves.
This I get to talk about myself here. This is good, I guess. I first met Ubi almost 30 years ago at a conference in California.
You can explain if you want.
Yeah, I found him sitting on a bench by himself after his speech, and I approached him and asked if he needed any help, and we ended up spending the next 3 days together conversing about life, ethnomathematics in Latin America and Brazil, whereupon he invited me to come to Brazil. I furiously began to study Portuguese and wrote a Fulbright application, and Ubi was generous in sponsoring me and connecting me with the right people. Campinas, where I spent time learning about Brazilian scholars and teachers' use of mathematical modeling to document ethnomathematics. My doctoral advisor at the University of New Mexico is Patrick Scott, and he was involved in translating the very first book of Ubiratan's work in English. And that's how I very first heard about it. And then I was so excited to meet him at this conference. Let's see if I can make this go. And thanks to his continued encouragement, I've continued to work and present and live on and off in Brazil. In 2005, I was a CNPq scholar with the Brazilian National Council for Scientific and Technological Development as a researcher here at UFOP, Universidade Federal de Ouro Preto here. And his work and love and patience and his encouragement means so very much to me. I can confidently say hundreds of other scholars, and you've proved this to be true worldwide. He's deeply admired and loved and respected, and we're going to miss him forever.
So here we are with the D'Ambrosios. I think this was in a conference in Portland.
Oh, yeah.
The Math, Education and Society Conference in 2015 in Portland. And he gave the main speech at the beginning of the conference about ethnomathematics and his work. Here, me, Danielle, Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, and his wife, Maria Jose. She was always with him. And about me and D'Ambrosio, the title I put was A Dream Come True. I heard about D'Ambrosio and his book. The first book he wrote in Portuguese was in the 90s. It's called Ethnomathematics or Ethnomathematica. But before that, in 1985, he wrote the first concept about ethnomathematics in an article he wrote for the journal called For the Learning of Mathematics, where he set up the basis of ethnomathematics. And then I first saw his book, the Brazilian book he wrote in Portuguese in 1996 in one of my schools. I taught a middle and high school in Brazil for 11 years, and the middle and high school in the US, in California, for 11 years as well. And the time I studied the concepts about ethnomathematics in 1996, about D'Ambrosio. And in 1998, I was enrolled in a specialization course at PUC, Pontifícia Universidade Católica de Campinas. And this course, specialization course, was about ethnomathematics and the mathematical modeling. And it was promoted by Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, Geraldo Pompeu, Ródio Bassanese, among others Brazilian researchers in mathematics education. In that course, Ubi was my teacher of the history of mathematics. As well, in that class about the history of mathematics, we spoke a lot about the concepts of ethnomathematics. At the time, we also talked a lot about his book and ethnomathematics and exchanged some ideas for his pedagogical action in my classes. So one thing that's important about D'Ambrosio's work is about the pedagogical action of ethnomathematics. So he was very concerned about using it in the classrooms and how to put his ideas about ethnomathematics as a pedagogical action in the classrooms. Even though ethnomathematics is not a curriculum discipline, right? A curriculum subject. In this course, because of Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, I met Dr. Danielle Orey, who was serving as a Fulbright scholar at PUC during the second semester of 1998. So in 1999, I was invited to teach mathematics at a high school in Sacramento, California, where I began to apply the concepts of mathematics, ethnomathematics with my immigrant students at that school. That school was a language center with 800 students in Sacramento, California. And we had about, we spoke in that school about 35 languages, as well as we were from about 65 different countries in that school only. So that was a perfect environment for me to develop the ethnomathematical ideas regarding to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. And in 2000, I took my master's degree in mathematics education at California State University, whose problem was related to the development of mathematical curriculum based on the perspective of modeling and of ethnomathematics for immigrant students in California. Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, who call him Ubi, right, was the external reader of that work. At that time, I understood Ubi's role as an educator in the field of mathematics education and his program, Ethnomathematics, as a complementary instrument that fulfilled his commitment to a better social order with more dignity and equality of life for mankind. In a search for peace and as well in a search for social justice. To me, ethnomathematics is not only to respect and value the other ideas of doing mathematical practices in their own communities, but as well as a search for peace and social justice. So from these events, the admiration for Ubi only increased since he has participated in my personal life, as well as my academic and professional growth, due to the various works and events that we participated in cooperation. Well, this is a picture from me and D'Ambrosio in his home in São Paulo, Brazil, in November 2019. This was the last time I saw him personally. I went there in São Paulo to visit him and his wife, Maria José, and also speak about our plans regarding to ethnomathematics and ethnomodeling and the peace and the social justice. We spent that afternoon together, speaking about all these things, and this was the last time I saw him personally, because as we all know, in December, the first announcement about the COVID-19 was done, and in March, everything was closed and lockdowns and the suspensions of school curricula, schools closed, transportation, everything. So I was not able to go from Minas Gerais, the state where we live, to São Paulo to visit him. But we still spoke by using Google Meet and Skype and other media. And he also gave a lot of speeches to our students in our master's degree programs here in Europe.
So Also, we'll talk a little bit about his ideas about creative insubordination.
Creative insubordination.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about his idea about being insubordinate, but creative in a peaceful way. So,
Yes.
it's important to highlight the importance of the Brazilian mathematician and philosopher Ubiratan D'Ambrosio in relation to development and evolution of the field of ethnomathematics. Ubi is also one of the most important theoreticians in the field, and by offering encouragement and leadership and dissemination of new ideas and concepts and perspectives involved in ethnomathematics around the world, its applications in math education is without a doubt a primary leader.
Yeah, and he talked about his role still in the development of ethnomathematics. His broader view of ethnomathematics accounts for the dialogical transformation of knowledge within and among the societies. Moreover, his epistemology is consistent with Freire's approach in that D'Ambrosio views mathematical knowledge as a dynamic and the result of human activity, not static and ordered. D'Ambrosio's studies in the area of socio-political issues established a strong relationship between mathematics, anthropology, culture, and society. This picture with D'Ambrosio and his wife Maria José was about a speech he gave to our students at UFOP in September 2020, last year. And our students, master degree students, spoke to him about their projects, and he just gave some ideas to our students, the development of their research.
We all have lots of pictures like this because when Maria José shows up, it's time for Ubi to stop. She always brings him some tea or coffee or something, and we all know, okay, it's time to stop. In 1983, D'Ambrosio was honored with the title of Fellow of American Association for Advancement of Science for his imaginative and effective leadership in Latin American mathematics education and his efforts towards international cooperation. In 1997, Gerdes Powell and Frankenstein considered D'Ambrosio as the intellectual father of the program of ethnomathematics. He was also selected as one of the most important mathematicians of the 20th century in the area of social political issues and ethnomathematics.
And in 2001, D'Ambrosio was the recipient of the Kenneth O. May Medal of History of Mathematics, granted by the International Commission of the History of Mathematics. Anderson, 2002, stated that the ACHM has awarded the May Medal to D'Ambrosio for his never-ending efforts through writing and the lectures to promote ethnomathematics, and thereby contributing intensely to make the field established. In 2005, D'Ambrosio was awarded with the Second Effects Medal of the International Commission on Mathematical Instruction, ICMA, that acknowledges his role in the development of mathematics education as a field of research.
Let's see.
Let me talk about this
a
little bit. So in 2016, we had one of the Brazilian Congress of Mathematics Education, sponsored by the Brazilian Society of Mathematics Education. Have this Congress every 3 years. And that time, D'Ambrosio was a recipient of this first prize about a merits member of the Brazilian Society of Mathematics Education. And at the opening of that Congress, I had the privilege and the honor to be invited to introduce D'Ambrosio as the emeritus member of this society here in Brazil. And I spoke a little bit about his life and his academic and professional contributions to the mathematics education, in special to ethnomathematics. And in this photo picture, he was awarded with this award.
He also used the resource of etymology to name this program. D'Ambrosio used 3 modified Greek words, roots, ethno, mathema, and tics to just explain what he understands to be ethnomathematics. He defined ethnomathematics as the mathematics practiced by distinct cultural groups, which are identified as indigenous societies or groups of workers, professional classes, groups of children of a certain age group, and maybe young fathers who have lots of diapers to change at this time.
I just want to make a comment here about the ethnomathematics and indigenous mathematics. If we understand indigenous mathematics as local mathematics that is practiced by any kind of members from distinct cultural groups, could be indigenous in a certain way as the Indians, for example, or it could be the farmers, could it be the fishers, and all kinds of different groups. Yes, they can be related. Now, if you're speaking about indigenous in relation only to the indigenous people, Indian people, for example, this is one part of ethnomathematics. So when that question was asked, I was trying to understand what the person meant by indigenous. In a broad way, right? In a broad sense that indigenous mean local, members of local cultures. If it in this sense, yes, ethnomathematics and indigenous people can have the same meaning.
We also, it's also a play on words because indigenous in Portuguese means Indian, but Indian in your part of the world means people from India. So that's why we were talking earlier, because I had to explain, no, indigenous is different than Indian. Indian is India, people from India like Nepal or Bhutan. And here, the original inhabitants of the land is what, or local people.
Yes, in that sense, yes. So I think it is very good because it is the words are used according to the context where they originate, right? So this is also the perspective of ethnomathematics.
It's also part of creating an international incident.
Exactly. That's anyway, yes. So by continuing the etymological roots of ethnomathematics, this D'Ambrosian perspective of ethnomathematics is the motive by which members of specific cultures, see, this is very important, ethno versus ethnic. So ethno does not mean ethnic, it means ethno, different cultural groups. And it can be any kind of groups where people develop their own mathematical ideas, procedures, practices, strategies to solve problems and techniques. Developed over history, the techniques and the ideas, what we call tics or technique, to learn how to work with measures, calculations, inference, comparisons, classifications, and the ability to model the natural and social environments in which we use to explain and understand the phenomena. So in that case, you have ethno, mathema, and tics, or ethnomathematics. D'Ambrosio proposes that this research program represents a methodology for ongoing investigations and the analysis of the processes that diffuse and institutionalize mathematical knowledge, idea processes, practices, strategies, techniques that originate from diverse cultural groups through history. Ethnomathematics, in this case, right, ethnomathematics is identified with the history of the members from distinct cultural groups.
One of the main contributions of UBIs was to enable the development of cultural dynamics by valuing and respecting different ways of thinking, enabling the awareness that members of these cultures play with their role in the evolution of the human species. D'Ambrosio, through ethnomathematics, sought to promote documentation, understanding, and comprehension of the various mathematical practices developed by members of diverse cultures, aiming at their empowerment. And then D'Ambrosio studies in the area of social and political issues establish a profound relationship between mathematics and anthropology and culture and our diverse societies.
Yeah, then I'll just go back a little bit in the last one. In that sense, D'Ambrosio also speaks about the 6 dimensions of ethnomathematics as a program, where he discusses in detail about the educational dimension, epistemological dimension, historical dimension, about political dimension, about the cognitive dimension of ethnomathematics. So this is a broad view of ethnomathematics where he discusses dimensions that are really important for us to try to understand value and respect other mathematical procedures and ideas that are not related to Eurocentrism, for example.
Yeah. Can I go now?
Yes.
So this picture means a lot to us. One of his last talks was how difficult this COVID disaster has been for us, particularly here in Latin America, because we are very touchy. We kiss, we hug everybody. And to not be able to do that here is almost the worst possible thing that could happen, that we have to maintain distance and put a mask on, is disastrous for us in a cultural way. And he gave a whole talk about how interesting and sad and difficult this was for all of us. Anyway, he provided through his leadership encouragement for researchers and
investigators.
Yeah, there's a lot of researchers here around the world to carry out research, lots of research in this paragraph, in ethnomathematics, as well as leading and driving the diffusion of new ideas, notions and concepts and perspectives involving ethnomathematics, promoting and invigorating its applications in mathematics education. This idea of new ideas is so important because we're talking about non-killing mathematics. What does that mean? Peaceful mathematics, what does that mean? That means we need new ideas.
For mathematics for social justice.
And social justice.
This picture was taken in, I guess, 2015. We had a group here in Brazil called the Friends of Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. And this group had a meetings every year for 4 years in a row.
We actually almost killed him once because it was a surprise, the first one. So he walked into this huge room with 300 people in it, and he almost.
So it was a celebration in his birthday.
Yeah.
December 8th. So for 4 years in a row, from I think 2014 to 2018, we met together in that place in São Paulo to celebrate his birthday with about 100 to 300 people in it. So this picture was taken in 2015, I guess, and this picture means a lot to us.
Yeah.
So D'Ambrosio contributions to mathematics education is still, in his last speeches last year, especially in this COVID and the coronavirus crisis that we are living for about 1.5 years now, right? He was also concerned about internationally experienced the pandemic situation, in which he stated that we are experiencing a difficult time with this pandemic. There has to be a solidarity about that. However, it is a very strange solidarity to not embrace, but to stay away, to have the distance, because we know that this physical distance in truth is an intimate, personal solidarity. He said, we are not embracing, but we are still embracing. This is the respect that we need to have for each other. So as Danielle said before, the Brazilian culture is very embracing. We like to touch people, we have to kiss, we have to embrace people. And this pandemic, in a certain way, changed some behaviors that the Brazilian culture have. But in his opinion, To stay away means respect to the others. And he said that also in this pandemic crisis, we need to have respect, we need to collaborate, and we need to cooperate. So in that case, we may be able to go through this pandemic, because we are, or most of us are, surviving this crisis. But there is a time that are going to transcend this period of crisis. So this is the message that he was sending lately to all of us.
Yeah. And this broader view of ethnomathematics explains the cultural dynamism in and between different societies and communities through a dialogical action that can transform mathematical knowledge in search of the common good. And in addition, the epistemology of this program is consistent with Paulo Freire's ideas, as mathematical knowledge is a dynamic and it's being considered as a result of human activity.
Yeah, also in his last speech, he was talking about humanized mathematics, right? And in Brazil, have a broad podcast here about humanistic mathematics. And this is another issue that we are discussing in Brazil about mathematics as a humanistic approach to knowledge. And our reflections on D'Ambrosio's contributions to mathematics education. D'Ambrosio was seeking new directions in order to provide new references to his work in mathematics education. It has been particularly interesting to further this exploration of his reflections about globalization, myth, religion, which are more concerned with ethics of mathematics. So in that case, D'Ambrosio is also playing with the Greek words he used, ethnomathematics, but maybe there is ethics of mathematics, or maybe there are cultural artifacts and procedures and strategies that people use to solve problems related to their immediate environment, social, cultural, political, economic, etc. In D'Ambrosio's perspective, religion and sciences have focused on giving a sense of normality to prevailing human individuals and social behaviors. According to D'Ambrosio's point of view, the survival of humanity depends. I lost it. I think we are in the other one. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Survival.
Yeah. According to D'Ambrosio's point of view, the survival of humanity depends on our relation with nature, which regulated by ecological principles. In that case, if you have that relation with the nature, you can transcend this period of crisis.
And his understanding of the human being as well as other species depends essentially on the analysis of this triad: individuals, society, and nature, and the effectiveness of the relations between them. And in this aspect, survival and transcendence have been throughout history the roots for conflict, which develops into confrontation and violence and the submission of individuals and nature. The great challenge for us all now is to be able to deal with conflicts which are intrinsic to this life. It's an undeniable right of all human beings to share the cultural and natural goods needed to our material survival and intellectual enhancement and transcendence.
Bon, from our coexistence with D'Ambrosio, we concluded that mathematicians, scientists, and engineers are not the only ones who use and construct mathematical knowledge. This knowledge is made by developing different processes common to all social cultural groups that enable the elaboration and the use of mathematical abilities, which include counting, locating, measuring, drawing, representing, playing, understanding, comprehending, and explaining the necessities and the interests of diverse groups of individuals. D'Ambrosio shared with us his vision as how fundamental it should be that the teaching and the learning of mathematics values the cultural context of mathematical knowledge and connect this aspect to the learning process for goals important to academic curriculum. Can you explain about this picture?
This picture is very, very nice. It was at a dinner after a book.
Insubordination.
Creative and insubordination. Here next to me is his daughter who passed away a couple 2015.
Bia
D'Ambrosio. Celi, a colleague of ours. Maria do Carmen, who also has passed away.
In 2015 as well.
Yeah, actually right after this dinner, actually. And then of course Milton, but all of us were very good friends, and I miss everybody.
Thank you very much, Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. We will miss you forever, but you are still with us with your work and your research and experience. This is Ouro Preto, where we live in Brazil.
We invite you all to come visit us sometimes. In your part of the world, you know what a bodhisattva is. And I'm pretty sure that's who he is for us.
Yes. Thank you all for listening to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your wonderful presentations, Professor Orey and Rosa. Really listening to your presentation regarding D'Ambrosio, we also actually became emotional that we lost the father of mathematics, whose works have been contributing in the field of mathematics to link school mathematics actually to the culture, or cultural mathematics to the school mathematics, or I can say dialectically. Now, I can see here one interesting question at the time when you were presenting. Purna Subba has posted one question that since here whether somewhere there, yeah. Please share if ethnomathematics has been included as a part of curriculum in schools and colleges of Brazil. If so, then credited or non-credited?
Well, what I can say is that we had a previous curriculum national curriculum about up to 2017, where ethnomathematics was specifically shared in this kind of national curriculum up to 2017. But after that, the politics in Brazil changed. We have extreme right in Brazil, so they developed another curriculum where any, or I can say in which contributions from the diversity and from other cultural groups are not in this curriculum anymore. So we're still fighting about it to try to develop and build in this curriculum contributions from the Afro-Brazilians, from the indigenous peoples in Brazil, and from other minorities groups in Brazil, because we feel now that the Brazilian diversity is highly at risk. So this is our fight now in Brazil to really respect and value knowledge that comes from the minority groups in Brazil. And it's pandemic crisis in Brazil, and we see other places and other countries in the world that's really getting hard, that the minorities in Brazil are the ones. When I say minority, I'm saying about indigenous people in the Amazon jungle, for example. I'm saying about Afro-American people in Brazil. I'm saying about special education people in Brazil that are practically living with no help. and this cannot help at all. So our fight now is to bring back to the curriculum these ideas about honoring and respecting and valuing diversity in this curriculum, and try to bring out these voices as well.
And it's related to the work in creative insubordination. Okay, so how to peacefully be insubordinate. Okay, how to, even though the curriculum says you have to do this, how can I bring in this diversity and this respect for my community and other ways, but in a peaceful way, not a violent or angry way. And that's one of the things that always moved me so much about D'Ambrosio. I don't think we ever heard him say a negative thing about anybody.
Or about anything.
Okay, thank you very much. One more question from Dr. Shashidhar Belvasi. The question is looks like this: how do you see position of ethnomathematics either as a subdomain of mathematics such as algebra, geometry, arithmetic, calculus, or it is a separate program that studies interconnection of culture to math or math to culture? What kind of math it may promote beyond basic literacy of math in cultural context?
Well, I don't see, well, this is my opinion, I don't see ethnomathematics as a, let me see the beginning of the question there, as
Like
a subdomain of mathematics. To me, mathematics is a subdomain of ethnomathematics. Academic mathematics, school mathematics, right? That we're talking about, and this is what he was talking about when he speaks about algebra. Because Ubiratan D'Ambrosio is to say that academic or school mathematics is also a kind of ethnomathematics that is done for members that from this specific cultural group. So to me, it's reverse. Okay, so academic or school mathematics is a subdomain of ethnomathematics. Ethnomathematics has a broad view of mathematics. And in fact, we're going to look for algebra or other mathematical concepts when we're doing ethnomathematics. We're looking at the mathematical thinking and mathematical practices that are done or developed by members from these groups. And sometimes we can make that connection with the pedagogical action that you can have in the schools. And sometimes that connection is not possible to be made. So I think it is a little bit different, the two contexts. And I think the first presentation, she said about emic, eric, and the local, global, and dialogical concept approaches, or mathematical knowledge. In that case, I mean, sometimes we cannot make that connection. That's okay, too. I mean, there is no problem. But we have to know what we are doing. Now I'm studying academic or school mathematics, this is the Eric perspective. Now I'm going to let people talk about their own mathematical thinking and practices. This is the emic perspective. And sometimes you can make that bridge. Sometimes it is not possible. So I think it is not easy to make that clear distinction.
Yeah, what our work is really looking at is trying to avoid Danielle coming to Nepal and saying, this is how you all do mathematics, okay? What we need is Toyanath to do a model about diapers, okay? Nepali diapers production or something, you know? But it's how your voice is published, how you do the mathematics, how you explain it. And our excited, I mean, what really got me excited after the earthquake was, oh, Toyanath, you can remind me who the name of the person was in the ministry who sent me that message. He wanted my lads to go and tell him why one temple fell and another one stayed up. That's how we started playing with this question, right? Because one temple fell right in front of that one there in Bhaktapur, and the other one was a little kooky, but it stayed up. And then we started looking at that temple, and all of a sudden there's prime numbers everywhere in that temple, okay? I don't think we ever answered the question, but the act of looking at that, your students and your group there told us, wait, there's something in this temple that we never paid attention to at that time. So it's that dialogue that's important, okay? But instead of me, the tourist, coming to Nepal and saying, this is how they do mathematics, that's what needs to stop. It means Nepalis or Bhutanese or people in United Arabic places too need to produce a voice there, okay? My colleague here from the Philippines has also got a great group going on, and maybe we should talk about rice production in these various ideas, or something common, okay? So those are just ideas, but it's whose voice is telling us, whose mathematics is.
Yeah, and I remember that just before that, we go to the other questions. I think one of the most important things about ethnomathematics is to enable people. I'm not sure if enable is the correct word for this, but it's to enable people to look at their own culture and see and value and respect things that were not possible to see before we started some kind of investigation. So this is one important things. When people, students, Toyanath students go to the plaza or to the square to see the buildings, for example, and all the cultural artifacts that have in that building, they start to think and discuss about history and other things. This is making them to look at their own culture and they respect and value what people who came before did, before this. And I remember also that we are giving, I think with Ramesh, class for one of the master students group about a few years ago, there in Nepal, I think at Mandu University. And they're talking about rice production. And we discovered at that time that the way that people measure the land is the same way or similar to the ones that we do here in Brazil for the rice production as well. So even though we are in different parts of this planet, very long, in our case now 9 hours difference, right?
8 hours 45.
8 hours 45 minutes to be exact. That's right. So we're developing the same concept, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Right. So I think this message that will be also left us that, or let's look at our own culture and see what our culture has to offer, from the local to the global. So to me, is a reverse colonization, right? Or a decolonization of knowledge. So let's share what the local can contribute to the global.
Yeah, one of Ubi's last speeches, he took ethnomathematics and turned it backwards. We're talking about the cheeks of the mathema of the ethnos. So he was playing with this idea. Maybe I invented this word that's wrong. You know, and he actually had another word that I can't even
just finish.
It's like this 20, 30 letters long. He said, well, that won't work. But maybe this idea of the cheeks of the mathema of the ethnos, beginning to look about that, okay? To get rid of this racism and sexism and this violence and this lack of connection to the environment. And getting people to really solve their own problems without selling their soul to somebody else who won't solve it in the end anyway. It's a problem here in Brazil.
Yeah, and before forgetting, I'd like to say a word to Trilochan and Toyanath about STEM education in an ethnomathematical perspective. I think this is missing. Yeah. This is one thing that's missing with STEM. People who work with this is the cultural perspective of STEM. Yeah. And I believe that ethnomathematics can contribute a lot. In fact, we wrote a chapter about this, ethnomathematics and STEM education, and chapter book. I'm not sure if it's available to make download, but we can provide that chapter. So we can have an idea about our ideas about connecting ethnomathematics and STEM education.
Yeah. Other questions?
Thank you very much, professors, because we taking note of time in mind. I'd like to, first of all, thank you all the presenters and the valued participants for attending this webinar, as well as posing the questions out there. The rest of the question will be attended by ourselves, and we can communicate through our emails, or you can also communicate with professors regarding these matters, or you can go through their articles and papers and research papers also this. So before I invite Assistant Professor Binod Prasad Pant from Kathmandu University, I would like to humbly invite Jaya Vishnu Pradhan sir from Tribhuvan University to pay his tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, because I know his doctor of philosophy, I mean PhD thesis he has done in ethnomathematics, and some of the articles and the thesis we are also going through and our students are following. So please, sir, Jaya sir, I welcome you here to give some few words within 2 minutes because of this time limit. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Indramani sir, for this opportunity. Respected Professor Balchandra Luntel sir, Professor Binod sir, and here we have two well-known professors, legend of ethnomathematics, and the successors of Professor Ubiratan D'Ambrosio, Danielle and Milton. My warm greetings. I can see the K. Wayne's Australian professor here, and many other professors from different countries. I would like to extend my warm greetings. And all my friends and participants. Here, I would like to express few words with respect and love to Professor UV. Everybody has a death, and it is in ultimate truth. Even though death is not equal for people because of their contribution to the community, nation, and the world. So, on the death of some particular people, whole world is disappointed and fall under the sorrow of ocean of sorrow. Yes, a Brazilian mathematician, philosopher, and educator, Ubiratan D'Ambrosio is one of such person. It is difficult to accept his death to us. Professor UB has been one of the most influential mathematicians of the century due to his work in relation to social, cultural, and political aspects of mathematics. That is why his death has been more expensive to us, the community of mathematics education in general, and ethnomathematics community in particular. It is a great loss in development of the discipline in its absence. He is the international leader of mathematics who disseminate the idea of ethnomathematics of voiceless people. He studied the relationship between mathematics and culture and uncovered the cultural roots of mathematical knowledge of different group of people. He studied the historical evolution of mathematical knowledge with the acknowledgement of culture of indigenous people. Students from marginalized backgrounds succeed academically and feel empowered when using ethnopedagogy. He developed the pedagogy to empower such people by focusing on their own mathematical practices embedded in everyday activities. I was highly influenced by his research and writing on ethnomathematics, which motivated me to get in this field as a student and researcher. My research is very much influenced by the ideas of UB. So he always will come in my mind because he has been and will be in the reference of my writings. As the father of ethnomathematics, he will forever reside in my heart as my role model throughout my research journey. Of love and respect to Professor UB, and I extend my heartfelt condolences to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio and pray his soul may rest in the heaven. At the same time, I wish the God will grace him energy and capacity to tolerate this great loss to his brave family members, relatives, friends, and ethnomathematics community around the globe. Also, I would like to thank and congratulate Kathmandu University School of Education, Department of STEAM Education for organizing such a great program. Let us all wish Professor UB's 88 years of grace will continue till eternity and here and in heaven. Thank you, everyone. Have a great time. Thank you very much, sir.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Jai Vishnu Pradhan, sir, for your wonderful and emotional words that you have paid as a tribute to Ubiratan D'Ambrosio. Now it's already much of time. That's why I finally request and humbly request Assistant Professor and Acting Head of Department of STEAM Education, School of Education, Kathmandu University, Binod Prasad Panta, to give his concluding remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Indra sir. So thank you so much. So first of all, my heartfelt tribute to Professor D'Ambrosio, and then almost all of our previous speakers, they have highlighted the contributions of D'Ambrosio. And then just to remember his contributions in the field of mathematics, as we all know that he has focused that mathematical knowledge is the product of human activities. And then what I believe personally, all so-called universal mathematical knowledge was ethnomathematics at certain time, because at certain time, so the people of certain community, they used to practice, and then it became a global phenomenon. So we do have a lot of ethnomathematical practices. Now we have to explore them. So thank you to all presenter, Shreejana, Toyanath, and Trilochan sir, and then most importantly, Professor Orey and then Professor Rosa. So I still remember that I met Professor Orey back in 2007 when I was a student of master's degree. And then we did several collaborations. So after that, 2007. So and then we are still continuing our collaborations. So most importantly, I want to thank to all the participants from different parts of the world. So I can see participants from Bhutan, Philippines, UAE, and Fiji, Hawaii, and Pakistan, and maybe from other part of the world as well. So I just want to share one small thing there. So I think for me, this ethnomathematics is an epistemological from the lens. It's not about the subjects, it's a ways of knowing. So for example, if you see the recently developed curriculum by Nepali Curriculum Development Center, and they have tried to keep these local number systems up to this 20. So now since we are just learning about this Indo-Arabic and Devanagari number system, now even in the curriculum they have kept that the students should know the local number systems from their own community, such as Newari community and Tamang community and so on. So I think it is also one of the respect given to these ethnomathematical practices. And also I want to thank to Indra Mani sir for organizing such a great program. And then there are our friends Niru sir and Netra sir, and then who have been doing a great job behind the scene and to make this happen. So finally, thank you to all participants for your time and then your active participation in the chat. So without your participations, we cannot run such a program. So just for your kind informations, we are running this program on every Saturday from 4:30 to 6:30, and then it has gone little further to 7. So we'll send you in email. So for this particular week, we have dedicated to this D'Ambrosio. So for other weeks, we discuss on STEAM, we discuss on maths educations, and we discuss on science education. So for every Saturday, we are running this workshop. So thank you so much once again. So I also like to thank to JB Pradhan sir. At last he shared his very beautiful words. So thank you so much. I think now we have to say goodbye. So thank you all.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all.